Hi, this is a Minute of Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now this week I want to ask, which one should you build for? Android or iPhone? So a few weeks ago I had a conversation with an Android developer who had just released an app to Google Play, and he contacted me through our Facebook page. So we have all the social media things. People will ask me questions through, or we have chats with other developers through Snapchat, Twitter, through the YouTube comments here, or also through our Facebook page. So he had asked, he basically released his app to the Google Play Store, and he was asking some questions on how we can make it more findable and do a little bit more on the marketing and stuff like that. And I had a quick look and made a few suggestions and pointed him in the direction of some videos, some of them mine, some of them other people's, things that he could look at in terms of increasing those rankings and stuff like that. But then he asked me a very interesting question. I thought it was interesting. I think he'd done the game or the app in Unity, so he could do it to Android and iPhone, and he was wondering whether or not it was worth even putting onto iPhone at all, right? And I was actually kind of shocked by this. I thought, I've heard of people putting things on iPhone, and then, in the early days especially, people create an iPhone app and think, is it really worth putting onto Android? Basically what they're saying is like, I know there's 80% market share for Android, but should I even bother going there because people don't make money from Android and that kind of stuff, which is not true, by the way. But he was asking the opposite question. He was saying, should I bother putting it on the iPhone? And I was like, yes, definitely yes. Like if you had a product like on a shelf and you had it in Walmart, would you not put it in Target because Target's not as big as Walmart? No, you try to put it in as many places as possible. But I know the feeling. I know Apple is not the easiest thing to set up, right? It could be a little bit difficult to begin with, especially when you set up your Apple account. You have to get like a DUNS number. There's really weird things involved there. But once you get everything set up, it gets a bit easier, right? And what I find is that my apps are usually, they're easier to find on Apple, right? But I get a lot more downloads from Google Play. So, so in terms of revenue, it's for us at least, it's been about, in terms of sales, not counting advertising, it's about 60% from Google Play and about 40% from iPhones. But we get like a lot more downloads from Google Play. So, and I've talked to other developers who's been different, like 90% comes from Apple, 10% comes from Google, or from Android, iPhone or Android, depending on the market. Right? And I've also talked to other developers who said, they get most of their stuff from the Amazon App Store. So my advice to him and to anybody is to put your app into as many places as possible. Now, I know it's not possible to put it everywhere, right? So a lot of times I'll skip Amazon, right? I'll release an app and I just won't bother putting it on Amazon because, or I will one day, but I have not seen a lot of return from Amazon, so I don't worry about it so much, but it's kind of more laziness than anything else. If you really want your app to succeed, you want to put it in as many places as possible. Now, I have some apps that are in Android that are not on iPhone, so they're native, they're done in native code, and let me tell you how awful it feels when you're trying to promote this app and you're showing it to people saying, hey, I've got this app, all this kind of stuff, and they go, oh, they take out their iPhone and say, oh, where is it? I'll download it. And you say, well, it's only on iPhone. And it's what you want to do is be able to, when you tell people about it, regardless of what kind of phone they have. Now, Windows Phone, completely different story. I don't support Windows Phone at all. We tried to do a little stuff with that, but I just have not been that interested yet. But definitely, if you're going to go for my advice is, if you're going to release an app, try to release it in a way, if you have something that you've already coded, like if you were coded natively, like for Android, and in order to put it on an iPhone, you have to get it, completely rewrite the thing, then I can understand. Maybe you want to just stick with Android. But what I suggest is when you start out, try to use the technologies that you could do to either push it to both places, like say Xamarin, if you want to go with native code, so it's actually C#, or through the hybrid frameworks like Cordova, Ionic, or we use Corona SDK a lot. Unity does both. I think there's a lot of different technologies out there where you can push an app to two places, and I really recommend going to both. Android has the numbers. Android, if you're going to make your money from advertising, you want to go for Android. If you're going to make it through purchases, you want to go for iPhone. But there will be purchases made on Google Play as well. I mean, we get a lot of purchases through Google Play, and there will be advertising that comes in from iPhone. So but you want to get it out there as many places as possible, which is basically what I'm saying this week. So I know it's a very simple point this week, but I know a lot of developers out there I've been talking to, they're only releasing to Google Play. And another reason they do it, either they only know Java, they don't know the other language, they use Android, so they don't think the iPhone people are really worth worrying about, or they're on Windows. So on Windows, it's very difficult to compile something for iPhone, even if you can. So, and this is one of the reasons why I had to make a big switch about 2 or 3 years ago. I went from being a Windows guy to a Mac guy, and I hated the Mac, right? But that's what I had to use. If I want to do iPhone apps, I have to get a Mac. I have to learn how all that kind of stuff works. And now I'm used to it, and I find it trouble going back to Windows, but it was a change that had to be made in order to actually start generating revenue from this kind of stuff. So anyway, that's it. I'm kind of rambling on now. I recognize that. So that's it for this week. I hope it's been helpful, and talk to you next week.